Title: The Girl They Left Behind, a true story of courage, forgiveness, and faith. It was a cold, lonely night in Cedarville, Tennessee, the kind of small town where every porch light goes out by 9 p.m., and the only sound left is the rustle of trees and the hum of faraway thunder. But that night, something broke the silence. On the side of a deserted street, next to an old Texaco gas station, sat a little girl, maybe 12 years old. Her clothes were soaked. Her small hands clutched around her knees, and her eyes stared blankly into the puddle before her. Her name was Sarah Monroe. A pickup truck rolled to a stop nearby. The town's night watchman, Mr. Hayes, stepped out, pulling his jacket tighter. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said gently. "What are you doing out here all alone?" Sarah looked up slowly, her lips trembling. "I don't know where to go," she whispered. "Nobody wants me anymore." Those words hung in the air like a cry too painful to bear. Mr. Hayes blinked, confused. "Are you lost? Where's your family?" But Sarah didn't answer. She just stared at the wet road. Soon, curious townspeople gathered. A few murmured questions, others whispered judgment. "Maybe she's a runaway," someone said. "Could be a thief's kid," another muttered. "We don't need no trouble around here," grumbled an old man. Sarah's small voice broke through the noise. "I didn't hurt anyone. I just need a place to stay." But the words fell on stone hearts. A woman crossed her arms. "We can't keep her here. Call social services or send her off somewhere." And just like that, the crowd turned away. When the truck's taillights vanished into the rain, Sarah was alone again. Alone in a world that decided she wasn't worth the risk. A night with no shelter. The rain didn't stop. Sarah walked barefoot down the road, her feet splashing in cold water, her thin dress clinging to H. Every house she passed had its curtains drawn, its doors locked. Her stomach grumbled. She hadn't eaten all day. At last, she spotted a giant oak tree by a field and sat beneath it. She remembered her mother, how she'd once told bedtime stories under trees like this. But that was before the accident, before her mother died in a highway crash, leaving Sarah with a father who drowned himself in liquor and eventually abandoned her altogether. She looked up at the stormy sky and whispered, "Mom, if you can hear me, I just need to know I'm not invisible." Her tears mixed with the rain. Lightning flashed, and for a second, she thought she saw her mother's face in the clouds, smiling softly. It gave her just enough strength to close her eyes and try to sleep. Morning hunger. When the sun finally broke through the clouds, Sarah woke to the chirping of birds. Her stomach twisted painfully. She walked until she reached the town square, Cedarville's small marketplace, where the scent of bacon and fresh bread filled the air. She stopped outside Mabel's diner, watching families eat through the window. Maybe, she thought, if I just ask nicely, someone will help. She stepped inside hesitantly. "Excuse me," she said softly to the woman behind the counter. "Can I have something to eat? I'll work for it, I promise." The woman frowned. "We don't hire kids, honey. You can't just walk in here begging." "I'm not begging," Sarah said, her voice breaking. Enough," the woman snapped. "Go on now, before I call the sheriff." Heads turned, people stared, whispering. Sarah's cheeks burned with shame. She backed out and ran, tears blurring her vision. Outside, she found a half-eaten sandwich in a trash bin. She hesitated, then took it. She hated herself for it, but hunger leaves no pride. The night of fear. That evening, she took shelter in an abandoned shed near the railway tracks. The wind whistled through the cracks in the walls, and rats scurried over broken boxes. She tried to hum a lullaby her mom used to sing, but her voice broke halfway through. Then she heard voices. 3 teenage boys. "Hey, what's that noise? Someone's in there." They kicked the door open. Flashlight beams cut across the dark. "Well, look what we got here," one sneered. "A runaway." Sarah stood frozen. "Please, I'm not doing anything wrong." They laughed cruelly. "Wrong place, wrong time, sweetheart." Before they could step closer, a train thundered past outside, shaking the ground. Sarah took her chance and ran, through the rain, through mud, until she stumbled upon the steps of a small white church at the edge of town. She pushed open the doors, crept inside, and fell to her knees. "God," she whispered, "I don't know why you made me go through this. But please, just give me one more chance." The church bell chimed faintly in response. Or maybe it was just the wind. A stranger named Ethan. When morning came, the smell of fresh coffee drifted into the church. A young man's voice said softly, "Hey there, are you okay?" Sarah jerked awake. A man about 26 stood before her. Tall, kind eyes, wearing a faded apron that read Ethan's Diner. He knelt beside her, offering a cup of cocoa. "You look like you haven't eaten in days." "I haven't," she admitted. "Come on," he said. "I'll get you breakfast." At his diner, she devoured pancakes, eggs, and orange juice, while Ethan listened quietly to her story about her parents, the storm, and the townspeople who turned her away. When she finished, he said gently, "You don't have to be scared anymore. If you want, you can help out here at the diner, wash dishes, wipe tables. You'll get food and a place to sleep." Sarah's eyes widened. "Really? You'd do that for me?" "Everyone deserves a start, kid." And just like that, Sarah found her first home in years. Work and wonder. Days turned into weeks. Sarah worked from dawn till night, cleaning tables, greeting customers, scrubbing pans. She never complained. At night, she slept on a cot behind the kitchen, watching fireflies through the tiny window. For the first time, she felt safe. But one thing still haunted her. She couldn't read or write well. Whenever customers left newspapers behind, she would stare at them, tracing letters with her finger, trying to guess what they meant. One afternoon, a kind schoolteacher named Mrs. Reynolds noticed her curiosity. "You like reading," Sarah nodded shyly. "I wish I could." "Then let's fix that," Mrs. Reynolds said warmly. "Come to my class after your shift. I'll teach you." Sarah worked by day and studied by night. It was exhausting, but she never gave up. Ethan often found her asleep over her books and would quietly drape a blanket over her S. Years of hard work. By 16, Sarah had caught up to high school level. By 18, she earned her GED with top scores. Ethan and Mrs. Reynolds threw her a small party at the diner, her first birthday celebration since her mother's death. "Next step," Ethan said proudly, "college." "I can't afford that," she said. "Maybe you can't," he smiled, "but I can help. And I'm pretty sure there are scholarships for people like you. Strong, smart, and stubborn." He was right. Sarah applied for financial aid and got accepted into Nashville Nursing School. She cried the day she left Cedarville, hugging Ethan and Mrs. Reynolds tightly. "I'll make you proud," she promised. And she did. Becoming Dr. Sarah Monroe. The city was tough, but Sarah tougher. She worked 2 part-time jobs, waitressing and cleaning dorms, while studying late into the night. Sometimes she'd walk past children begging on the street and feel her old pain surge up again. She'd buy them food whenever she could. After 4 years, she graduated top of her class. Her professors admired not just her skill, but her empathy. Patients said she didn't just heal bodies, she healed hearts. When asked what inspired her, she'd simply smile and say, "A man who gave me pancakes when I hadn't eaten in days, and a teacher who believed I was worth saving." The return. 10 years after that stormy night, Sarah returned to Cedarville, not as a homeless girl, but as Dr. Sarah Monroe, a licensed physician with a dream to build a free clinic for the poor. When her car pulled up outside Mabel's diner, heads turned. The sane people who once ignored her now stared in disbelief. A woman gasped, "That's her, the girl from all those years ago." Sarah smiled politely, though her heart raced. "Please, my daughter's burning with fever. The hospital's an hour away. There's no doctor here." Without hesitation, Sarah said, "Take me to her." Inside a small wooden house, a little girl lay sweating and delirious. Sarah acted quickly, cooling her fever, giving medicine, holding the mother's trembling hand. Hours later, the girl's breathing steadied. The mother fell to her knees. "You saved her. Oh God, you saved her." Then she looked up, tears streaming down. "We're sorry for everything we did to you." Sarah helped her stand. "Then show you're sorry by never turning away another child who needs help." The revelation, news spread quickly. The town gathered in the square, where the mayor asked Sarah to speak. An old man, the oldest resident, stepped forward trembling. "This young woman is Thomas Monroe's daughter," he said, "the man who once owned half the farms around here before tragedy took him." Gasps rippled through the crowd. They realized they had turned away the daughter of the very man who'd once given them work, food, and shelter. Tears welled up. The mayor said softly, "Dr. Monroe, we wronged you terribly. We can never undo that." Sarah took a breath. "I didn't come for revenge," she said. "I came to build something better, a place where no child ever feels unwanted." The Cedarville Hope Clinic. Months later, the clinic opened, small, painted white, with a blue sign that read, "Cedarville Hope Clinic, Healing with Heart." People volunteered. Even those who once mocked her now helped clean, paint, and donate supplies. Ethan came down from Nashville to stand beside her on opening day. "Told you you'd change lives," he whispered. Sarah smiled. "We both did." The last battle. But not everyone welcomed her success. Richard Thorne, the wealthy landlord who had once led the mob that threw her out, saw her clinic as a threat to his power. He owned the private hospital in the next town. He tried to shut her down, filing complaints, spreading rumors. One night, he even sent men to vandalize the clinic. Windows shattered, equipment broke. When the townspeople found out, they were furious. They marched to Thorne's mansion with candles in hand. "If it weren't for Sarah," a woman shouted, "my daughter wouldn't be alive. We owe her everything," cried another. Faced with the entire town united behind her, Thorne backed down. Cedarville had finally changed because of the girl they had once left behind. A heart full of grace. Years later, a journalist visited the clinic to interview Sarah. "You had every reason to hate this town," he said. "Why forgive them?" Sarah smiled gently, looking at the children playing outside. "Because hate doesn't heal. Kindness does. They hurt me once, yes. But if I'd let that define me, I'd still be that girl, crying under an oak tree. I chose forgiveness, not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace." Conclusion. Today, Cedarville is known not for its cruelty, but for its compassion. The clinic treats hundreds every month, no charge. And on the clinic's wall, a framed quote reads, "Never judge a child by their circumstances. The one you abandon today might be the one who saves your life tomorrow." Sarah often walks past that quote and smiles, because she knows it's not just her story. It's a reminder that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can change a life forever. Soft music rises, children laughing in the background, sun shining over the clinic. If this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it so that someone who feels lost today might find hope again. And if you believe in second chances, hit subscribe, because every day we share real stories of courage, forgiveness, and humanity. Stories that remind us the world still has good people left.